Welcome to For Love and Play. I'm matchmaker comic Yael Meisel. With me is comedians Keenan Weaver and Louie B. For Love and Play, the show about dating like a goddamn adult. We're going to discuss who to spend your time with for love or for play. Let's do it, boys.
This show contains adult content for entertainment purposes. Listener discretion is advised.
Not a doctor.
All right. Thank you for listening again to For Love and Play. I'm your host, Keenan Weaver, back with my favorite people, Yael, the queen. What's going on, girl?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing lovely. I'm lovely. And the Duke, Louie. What's up, man?
Konnichiwa, my people. Konnichiwa.
All right. We got a great show for you guys today. We want to again thank you for listening. We have a very special guest. Before I get into introducing her, just up front, we're going to talk about a lot of things been going on in this world, that horrific, tragic, that has been putting certain conversations to the forefront that we are not used to having at times. And you're looking at your friends with some side eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I know people get dropped from Facebook and everything because you're like, I can't believe you would say that. So we're going to kind of get into that a little bit. But Louie, tell the people how they can join in on the conversation.
If you guys have a relationship question, feel free and email us at forloveandplay@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at forloveandplay. On Facebook, that is facebook.com/forloveandplay. We're also on iTunes, iHeart, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and podcasts.com. And so let us know that you're listening. Take it away, Keenan.
Yeah, definitely. While you're listening to this conversation, you can use those hashtags to just join and give us your thoughts. But now, without further ado, I'm super excited. We are honored to welcome on For Love and Play this lovely lady. You might have seen her on Last Comic Standing. Comedian actress Ida Rodriguez, host of the wildly popular Truth Serum radio show, live Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on TRadioV.com. Ida, thank you.
Woo!
Thank you. Wow, I needed to record that introduction.
I got it.
I tried.
I'll send it to you.
You did.
Louie told me. Louie was like, all right, we have her. She sent us the intro, so you got to get on point with it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure. I got in the mirror. I practiced. I went back. I recorded all the Last Comic Standing, so I have a couple of episodes with you on it. I was like, all right, I see this girl's flow. Keenan Ivory Wayne said she was beautiful. I'm like, all right, let's bring her on.
Yeah. You know, a fellow Boricua has to get special treatment up in here. Oh.
Okay, so I feel so ridiculous just now. But anyway, I have, I don't pump my shows and I don't pump Truth Serum. And so my reps have been like, can you please tell people that you are performing and where you're performing and tell people about your show so that they can tune in because they want to hear more. So anyway, that's why I talked about the introduction. But let's talk about the racists and the sexists and the bigots. Those are my favorite.
I mean, but up top, we can say why we wanted you for this topic is because of your work on Truth Serum. And maybe to help those reps, can you explain a little bit about the show?
Well, I have, and I will say this about Last Comic Standing. I like to give them their props because they didn't try to muzzle me in any way. It's a network television show and they really, standards and practices and the law division of all of the networks are very judicious about maintaining that people don't say things that are offensive because the PC police is out there and they're waiting.
Yep.
And so, I've worked really hard to cultivate a career of just really honing in on my voice, like just really zooming in on my point of view and being vocal about the way I see things. And I've never wanted it any other way. So it's taken me, I guess, a little bit longer because I don't want to pander and I don't want to just say things because I think it's going to make people agree with me. I really say what I think. And I think long and hard about what I say because I like to formulate opinions about things, while being informed and having some level of knowledge about them. So Truth Serum is an outlet for that for me because network television castrates you because you are actually performing for the masses and you have to have a voice that feeds the masses. And I have never fit into being in with the cattle. I'm an independent thinker. And so I have a tendency to really speak my truth. And I don't speak my truth as if it is the truth, but it is definitely mine. And so, Truth Serum just became a platform for me to be able to talk about the things that I really wanted to talk about in the most honest way without being handcuffed and muzzled. And so every Tuesday I get to sound off on whatever I want to talk about and I say it.
And I think that's great, which is why I wanted to kind of switch the topic for us today, because I've checked out Truth Serum a couple of times. We've had some of my friends on. Great show. And like you said, speaking your truth, I think that's something that's rare in comedy, especially the business side of comedy.
Exactly.
When you first start, a lot of people have their truth. They get into it because they want to speak their truth. But then the dollars start coming, and the dollars start putting a muzzle on your mouth. And Truth Serum,
even before you get the dollars.
Sometimes, because you think that that's what somebody wants. And your words, your hosting, your guests, Truth Serum is a very smart but also funny show. And during these times now, a couple of weeks, there's just been every week we've just lost lives to some senseless violent act. But not only that, also the presidential campaigns are going on. So everybody's truth is it's just like a hyperbolic chamber for all of opinions. And some opinions are right, some opinions are wrong, some opinions are stupid, idiotic. Like, you just never know what is happening, and you get thrusted into these conversations with people that you may know, people that you love, people that you may not know and not have much respect for. It's shedding a light on a lot of things that I think over the history of most lives doesn't come at this time like that heavy. So we wanted to talk about that. Like, how is that strain of these topics putting on our relationships, whether it's a lover, whether it's just a Facebook friend? I know I had one of my threads blow up. It was like a few months ago. An old coworker of mine. I didn't know. Like, after a few, he was talking about, I think this was like Trayvon Martin, and all of a sudden it shifted. He started talking about Obama, and I'm like, oh, you're a closet KKK member. Like, that's
not fair. That's not fair.
Hilarious.
This is like legit. I'm not going to say exactly what he was saying, but you see these conversations take place. Like, Facebook is hot right now. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. For the record, I am that guy that incites, just rage with my dissent.
Right.
Yeah, because
I've experienced you before. I think that I welcome and I respect everybody's opinion, because people formulate their opinions in accordance to their experiences. And a lot of times what happens is that when someone disagrees with what you believe, a lot of people tend to shut those people off.
Yeah.
And there's so much chaos as a result of that. Instead of allowing somebody a lemon squeeze, if you will, where they can actually really speak how they feel, then you can actually get to the root of the problem or the root of the situation, to have an exchange where maybe you might be able to provide somebody with some information and a point of view that may allow them to see things differently, because sometimes that's all they know. So if you get a little kid that's 5 years old and he grows up with a father who's skinhead, and in a white supremacy driven family, and their whole life they've been told that black people are this and that other people are that and Jewish people are this and gay people are that, and that's been downloaded into their computer since they were very young. Now they're 25 years old and they have these views, and they come across a black person and they don't know that all they know is what they know. But if that person has an exchange with someone that can possibly give them a different point of view, it may help them. And what we do is that we turn off to people like that without understanding that sometimes they've been socialized or they've been nurtured to have these beliefs. And we have to learn to hear people out so that we can get to the bottom of it. Because when you see people that are in the KKK, they're no different than people that are in the Bloods and the Crips, that are in
MS-13.
ISIS or MS-13. They're all just looking for a family. They're looking to belong. Straight. Yeah. And that's what, people prey on those. These organizations prey on people like that. And, and the truth of the matter is that, if they have a voice, if they have somebody who can hear them out and they can have a positive exchange with them, they could probably be deterred from ending up in these places. But we are just so shut down because we don't want to, all that matters, we've become so self-centered. All that matters is what we think, who we are, how we look. We have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram. We're narcissists, and that's a disorder. We sit down and we think about ourselves constantly, so we don't have room to allow other people in, and that's not by accident.
And even to speak on that disorder, it's even from not even the narcissism of the self-centeredness of being on Instagram or putting your life out on Facebook, but also it's inbound as well, because no point in time were you able to really pick and choose directly what you want, like on demand. So anything that I like only comes to my cell phone. Like, that is it. You have to go out and really make an effort to grab other information from other sources of things that may not have interested you, to learn from that perspective. And that's something that was great about what you said up top, is the uniqueness of our perspectives brought to conversation is how we're really going to move forward. Just as humanity, it's to embrace everybody's differences. But right now, it seems like anybody that's different, people react to it with fear rather than embracing it. And it has been tough. Has any of you guys had to have unfriend somebody on Facebook?
Well, I definitely have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't unfriend people because our opinions differ, but I do unfriend misogyny and hate because, I don't want to, specifically with people that come from me, I don't battle rap with bitter balls. Social media. I'm not going to get into, if you want to have and I've had
with
a
me
disagreement with somebody.
That's how we met. I'm like, but
we didn't have a negative, we didn't engage negatively. We disagreed on something, but we had an intelligent exchange where we both saw the other side, and which is why we're on the phone today.
Yep.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people
crazy that you haven't unfriended Louis, because I work with him and I almost unfriend him every day.
Oh my God, I'm shocked. I'm happy. This makes me happy.
You know what?
That's a test.
Seriously, seriously, my theme song is "Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood" by Santa Esmeralda.
Hilarious. Well, Yael was speaking. Can let her finish.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I mean, I'm thankful that he hasn't created a new enemy. I'm just thankful. You know,
Louis, what have you been doing?
Oh my God, you don't want to know.
You know, and
like,
honestly,
if my children don't kill me, Louis will.
No, I won't.
You know what I mean? A combination of my, like.
Don't lie. Stop the lying.
Every other day, it's like heart palpitations. It's okay. Well, we can always delete it. Okay.
Oh,
hilarious. That's so. And there are people like that. There are people that enjoy, inciting. It creates conversation. It brings forth. But I think it's really interesting where we are now. I personally don't believe in. I don't argue with women on social media. I don't argue with people of color on social media. My mantra is I don't argue with family in front of the public. Like, that's just something for me, because I think that we are socialized to hate each other because of divide and conquer. So I'm not going to get on social media and argue with another woman and call her a bitch and hate on her. I don't believe in that. And I've had women do that to me all the time.
Yeah, because kind of social media specifically is like, it's giving a microphone to people that don't know how to work the mic. Like, like the different time when you were a comic before social media, you would have to go put in time and work in order for you to even be kind of worthy, for a lack of a better term, to speak your truth. Yeah. Right? It's like you put in effort in order to grow your own voice so that others wanted to hear you. But now you put a post up and then someone else just, jumps right onto it. They don't even have, I could tell a recent story. I posted something. The headline was misleading. It was clickbaiting like most internet things are. But I'm a person that actually reads articles. So when I read the article, there was something in the article that was noteworthy to me and I wanted to share it. But the person just came and reacted to the headline.
Right.
And I'm saying, like, I can't even have this conversation with you because you're not even aptly prepared for this discussion. Like, I don't know what the like, I didn't care about just the headline. I was actually sharing this because of what was in the article. You'd agree with the headline. And I was just like, yeah, it is clickbait. And I completely agree with you. But why are we having crazy discussion from that?
Well, I mean, so you got to understand that people, and I'm sure you understand that people are walking around with all their sets of issues, and they just need an opportunity to let some shit out. So you know what I mean? Like, your Facebook post could very well be the trigger somebody's domestic violence, and here you are having this passionate agreement with somebody about how you disagree with Ben Carson, and all they are is just mad because they got a pay cut and now they need somebody to take it out of. And I think about those things. That's why I don't allow myself to get caught up in those things, because those people that are so ferocious, like I know people who are, somebody wished death upon me because I had a joke about Beyonce. And I was like, damn, like, are you
mess with
the
Queen
hive?
Bee? Don't mess with Queen Bee. Oof.
And you know what? I was like,
Joe Camel don't like that.
You know what I'm like? I don't give a fuck about her. She doesn't help me take care of my family, my bills. That bitch doesn't care about us. She's up there prancing, becoming, created by the machine, pushed by the machine, becoming this iconic figure that's telling young women to be superficial, materialistic, and negotiable. And I'm supposed to endorse that? I'm not. I have too much substance for that. I think she's talented, and I give her her props.
God bless.
Right. And how do you get so big that you actually have a hive of people that if you oppose this one person, they really will come and try to
they wish
with pitchforks.
They wish death, and then, it's idiocracy coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And the problem with us is that, that's the problem. That is the problem. Problem is that the media is actually now in full control of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And every day, the New York, I remember when journalists used to be journalists. So now the New York Times drops an article dissing, the USA Today, and nobody's reporting what's really happening. Everybody's just pushing an agenda that these corporations are funding.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the people who are of a lower intellectual grade fall for that shit because they're being manipulated like little rats on the wheel. So everybody's like walking around on edge. I remember when the Democrats and the Republicans used to be the Democrats and the Republicans. Now the Democrats and the Republicans are the Yankees and the Red Sox. It's like, it's becoming, these people are like, I hate the liberals. And I'm like, what's funny is like, if you sit down with every individual who has any knowledge about real politics, nobody is actually really a full liberal and nobody's actually a full conservative.
Yep.
Because we're multi-dimensional people and we have different thoughts and views about all kinds of different issues. And for them to all be categorized under those two labels is actually a disservice to a person who actually thinks for themselves.
Yeah.
Because fiscally, who wouldn't be conservative if you have money and you're trying to save your money and you're trying to preserve it? Who would want to give it away to other people who don't value it?
Yeah.
That's just common sense. But because it's been giving a different label under the conservative banner, it's just become this ugly thing. And now everything falls under one category. And the dummies who don't read and don't seek out information for themselves, they allow themselves to be manipulated and fall for that shit.
Yeah.
It's just become such a circus.
Yeah.
And Facebook is the serving platter for it. It's what serves it up for you. And so many people fall for that shit.
Yeah. I mean, most people when you like really like explain things, they tend to be social liberal but fiscally conservative. Like they're more libertarian.
Yeah, and they don't even know what it is because now it's and let's not discount white supremacy because it does exist. This is a country that was rooted and really, really, it was founded on white supremacy, and that is something that is embedded in the psyche of all people, not just white people. Mm-hmm. But there are black people in certain parts of the country who just fall in line and don't believe that they believe that they can only be bus drivers and they can only be, the porters at the airport. That's embedded in the culture.
Yeah.
So now you have this situation where you have a black president. It's just shaking up the psyche of most people who are not thinking from themselves for the beginning. And it is just thrown this country into a place where what has happened is not that this is new, it's that it's finally coming to the surface. And now that it's coming to the surface, what happens is revolution. And I don't mean war. I don't mean the skinheads and the Black Panthers. I mean, all this shit that is happening is a result of the disorientation of people being shaken because things are not the way they used to be.
Yeah.
And people can't function. They're like, oh my God, what is happening? There's a black man in the White House. There's this, Latin woman that's a billionaire, and Oprah Winfrey it's fucking everybody up. And it's not just white people, it's everybody. Everybody.
The fabric of what we knew is no longer sewn that way, and it's weird because especially when you speak of, I'm one of the big proponents of like always speaking on white supremacy and things of that nature. But the other day, I have a day job, and this was after California, and we were talking about, this is how it creeps up crazy, because the topic wasn't even about that. It just happened after this. The topic was about the tree lighting here in New York City. I was thinking about taking a date out because we have an unseasonable weather in New York. It's like 50-something degrees right now. I've never gone to the tree lighting because it's always cold. Like, this might be the perfect time. That's the conversation.
Yes.
The tree lighting. And she goes, why would you go out there? Aren't you worried about ISIS? And I was like,
right.
Or as I like to call them,
what?
CIA ISIS.
Like, first of all, ISIS hasn't even really done anything in America. So where did that real statement come from? And she goes, well, yeah, what happened yesterday? I'm like, what, do you not go to movie theaters ever anymore? Like, what? Why is it just that? I was on the radio the other week. Another lady spoke about ISIS and airlines. I'm like, but everything else is just cool. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you and it's those little jabs, those little things that come out of different conversations where it's like, what? Who am I really working with?
Well, I mean, those are people that are misinformed, and you know, the beat of the nation is to instill fear in the people so that they can control them.
Fear porn.
So they're just falling in line. Like, you can't be mad at somebody because they're not operating on a higher frequency. They don't know any better. You know, people are just trying to survive and feed their families and go to work, and they really believe what they read online, and they really believe the news at night, and they really believe that, you know, that what the news tells them is what it is. And they don't know that, you know, that what's functioning on this unseen level to most people is this really gross, just gritty business of circulating money and passing hands between all types of criminals from all over the world who benefit from us being afraid. And now, you know, the agenda is the guns thing. It's like, we really want to get the guns out of the hands of the people. It's an accident that we are constantly being fed. Oh, and there was another tragedy, and there's another tragedy. That is all an agenda. And true enough, we have issues in America with guns. And, you know, those people that had those guns in San Bernardino got those guns legally. And they're going to highlight that story. There's a lot of people who got guns in their hands right now who've acquired them by all different types of means. But there's a specific agenda that is at hand. And unfortunately, the average person who has no concept of what is really happening in the world they have no better way to react than just to react from fear, because that's what's being pushed upon them constantly. And it's really funny to me. I mean, I had a conversation with somebody who was a Donald Trump follower, and he was at my show. And, you know, he was Italian. He is Italian, but he looked like he was from the Dominican Republic. So, because I was talking to him from stage, and I was like, he was in Yonkers. And I said, you must be from Sicily. And he was like, why do you say that? I said, because you're darker and you could look like you're Puerto Rican or Dominican. So it's interesting to me that you would follow Trump. But then he went on to say that he beat his wife, like that he and his wife fought. And he was like, she was there. And I was like, well, who wins the fights? And I was like, I do. He said, I do. And I said, so you're admitting to domestic violence at a comedy show in front of a bunch of strangers. I said, lady, listen to this. I said, lady, do we need to call the law? Yeah, no. And he raised his hand. He said, honey, I am the law. I'm a state trooper.
Oh,
and therein, for me, was everything that just fit. It was like so clear for me. I was like, here's a man who identifies with a white supremacist who is in the law, you know, is a state trooper and beats on his wife. This is
there you go.
Yeah, like, this is the problem.
I mean, I for this show, I'm gonna try to swerve that one. I would love to come on Truth here and talk about all the undercover race soldiers that we have in prominent positions. Because, like you said earlier, it's built. This country is built.
You don't call police anymore.
Yeah,
seriously,
I mean,
say that again.
No, you don't call. I live in Crown Heights. You don't call the police unless there is. I mean, what it would take for me to involve the law. Case of a child. That would probably be it.
Because I know black people.
That would be it. Because so much can go wrong.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, people inherently know what's wrong. I mean, they inherently know that there's something wrong.
There?
Oh.
Are you there?
Yes.
Are you guys there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what happened. So I remember growing up when if you felt you were in danger, you should call the police. That was the only safe thing to do. Now, it really doesn't matter what color you are. Don't call the police unless you have an actual crime. A child is in legit danger. You think your neighbor's house is on fire. That's it. Because so much bad. Someone could get shot, someone could get killed, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No,
like,
I
just for trying to do the right thing. It's terrifying.
No, I agree. When I saw the white woman getting beat up by the police officer in front of her 2 little kids, oh my God, because she didn't have her seatbelt on, and her father is a sheriff, and he didn't know that, and he beat her up, and they got it on video. I was like, all is lost, folks. You know, a white woman getting beat up by the police, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always tell my white friends is that they just practice on us. It's for the people. Like, we're the test. Blacks are the test, but they want it for all people. And I want to kind of switch this and bring you into this too, because a couple of weeks ago we had an episode where we talked about, like, you know, being equally yoked for religious reasons, whether you want to get married or whatever it is, but to still Christians marrying Christians, Jews marrying Jews. Like, that's a very hot topic in relationships. But now I want to kind of get your thoughts on how far does that extend? Do relationships that work best, can one be a Trump supporter and the other one be a Bernie Sanders supporter? Or even with incidences like this, can one be the Sicilian guy that looks one way?
No, because it all goes back to the principles. Again, what I believe when I set people up, when I am finding someone for myself, whatever it is, you have to be like-minded people. Like-minded. You're not going to get along otherwise. You're going to build, you're not going to grow. If he hates that fucking rap music and the smell of pot, and you bout that life, that's not for you. If she's too big for you, instead of motivating her to lose weight, dump her. Why? Because it's going to be a source of contention, not because we should only judge people on the physical.
I agree with
I'm
that.
saying 100%. No. Do let me tell you something. Opposites attract on a flirtatious, lustful, sexual level.
Right.
They don't stay together because they don't get along. That's what it is. Yeah. They don't get along. And you're not happy with someone you don't get along with. That's why for me, I don't really give a shit about that soul and the inner work. Really, I don't need to be the love of your life. If we love each other and we can live day in and day out, get along, be friends, spend money, make money, and share in our goals and dreams and passions, that's not for me. Seriously.
No, I mean,
you know what I mean? If we are in love together rather than with one another, I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's like, welcome to an adult relationship.
Right.
I agree with her, and you know, I met someone who was a pumping Trump, and I said, you know, I'm good. And he was like, but you're not Mexican. And I said, you know, therein lies the problem for me. I said, one.
That's the only reason you're Mexican. Calm down, Ida. If you're not Mexican, why would you be mad? Please.
Exactly. And I was like, but I'm a human being. I said, first of all, I'm a human being and a collective thinker. I said,
that corner screwing with the people with the disabilities. I was like, dude.
Yeah. As a human being, I can't rock with Trump. It has nothing. So I was like, first of all, who gave immigration the Mexican face? Because if I, the way I understand it, there are immigrants from all over the world in America. So why does immigration belong to Mexicans? Secondly, I'm Puerto Rican, which means I belong to the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. So what? As a Latin person, I think it is my responsibility to stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters that are not from, because at the end of the day, we're all Latin American. And what did Donald Trump say about Puerto Ricans is, because what did he say now about black people? He just said something else ridiculous the other day. So
he's going at something at every turn. But
he did say that when he gets into office, he wants to revoke the citizenship of Puerto Rico, and if they either become a state or they're not citizens. So it's either we fuck you in the ass or we fuck you in the ass. But I think, my personal opinion is, I don't want to be around somebody who thinks Donald Trump is dope. You know why? Because that lets me know that the way you think is limited. If you think Donald Trump is awesome, and this man made fun of somebody that was disabled the other day.
Oh yeah.
If you think that's a person that, he told the truth. Whose truth is he telling? Because that motherfucker ain't stating facts on any level, not on a scientific level. Everything that he's spitting is the way he sees things from a white, entitled, male point of view. He's a sexist. He's a fucking racist. He's a pig. He's anti-human. The way he talked about his daughter, he lost me. He was like, he said he would be involved with his daughter. He said he would date his daughter if it wasn't his daughter. Why would I want to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he said about his daughter. He said if, his daughter, he was like, she's hot. She wasn't my daughter. I'd date her.
Oh, Jesus.
Who says that about their own child?
Un jibado.
What turned from me, specifically on Trump, was, okay, I get it at first. And I do a bit about this is, as a comic, you kind of want someone who is that kind of like brash, truth teller, right? But as a human, I know the dangers of it. And where it turned for me is kind of like that example that you just gave, when he's making fun of a handicap. The week before that, he had said Muslims was cheering, in New Jersey about 11, and those are not true statements.
No.
So, if he denied him mocking the handicapped person, he denied it. He no longer was standing in his truth like he did with Rosie O'Donnell and all those. So now it's like, all right, we gotta.
And that's what I think makes him a fake ass motherfucker, because now he's apologizing. And at first he was like, he would never apologize. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, it's all sensationalism.
Exactly. And I know, I kind of like your situation. I was talking to this girl that was a fan of Ben Carson, and Ben Carson, like, I lost the booty call because of that. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't.
Yeah, Ben. My sister-in-law is a fan of Ben Carson, and I try my best to stay out of the talk of politics, because I know my sister is a conservative and Republican, and we don't talk about politics, because I also know that I think on a different level, and that the way I see things are completely different because of my experiences. But I grew up 7-day Adventist, and so I am, and I'm not a religious person anymore, and I made a decision for myself that religion was more dangerous for someone like me than it was helpful. And I don't criticize or condemn other people for seeking religious leadership, because some people need it. That's how they maintain some people in the box and keep them from going out there and doing some crazy shit. Mm-hmm. But I sit here and I think about, this is a man that separated the first brain conjoined twins, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. But at the same time, it also reinforces that just because you have degrees and you have a certain level of post-secondary education does not by any means say that you are of a higher intellectual grade when it comes to emotional and social development. So when I hear somebody say, when somebody says that prison makes you gay, I'm like, and you think a neurosurgeon? I'm like, yo, this motherfucker is where? How does it connect? That's exactly
what it is. And I'm not even trying to say, for me, it's the policies of left and right, or these particular people, Trump and Ben Carson. It's not even about those politics. It's more about the idiot things they say. Like, how can you overlook that? And then we can't Netflix and chill, because our cues are going to be different. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that the funny thing is that they're not even talking about policy. They are talking about bullshit. They're like, oh, I don't think, I think prison makes you gay. Or I don't, I think the Jewish people, they should have given the German Jews guns. And then it's like, meanwhile, education is at an all-time low. Yep. Financially, this country is in the shitter. Mm-hmm. People are struggling and starving. Crime rate has gone up. Like, regardless of what they say, because everybody has different set of statistics to support whatever the fuck they're trying to say. I know I am my finger on the pulse of what's going on. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I have a captive audience every night of people who are working and busting their asses to go out and make it another day. And these motherfuckers are talking about stupid shit like prison makes you gay. It's like, are we really participating in society? And, and what are you talking about, you brain surgeon? Remember when somebody would say it's not like he's a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist? Yeah. Now that shit has changed.
No, I'm like, definitely like,
yeah, I trust the guy that works at Chipotle more than I trust Ben Carson.
Not even Ben Carson, though. He's messing it up. Like, a lot of people say that he's messing up, giving black people a bad name. I'm looking at my own doctor with the side eye. I'm like, are you? Yeah. At one point, you were the smartest person I thought I knew. Like, now, just as you a doctor, I don't know if you smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And unfortunately for people of color, everybody who has any bit of notoriety automatically becomes their representative. It's like, look at Obama is Obama is a fucking politician just like every other politician. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people thought he was going to walk up into this bitch with a certain level of grace and this angelic belief that he was above others because he's a person of color. He's a fucking politician. He's pushing an agenda just like all of the other ones. Mm-hmm. All we can hope for is the lesser of two evils when it comes to politics. To be deluded into believing that Obama was going to come and save the black people lets me know that you ain't never read shit in your life. The fucking politician. And even though he's done things that, you know, he's created certain policies and has done certain things that have benefited groups of people, and he's done this, he's still a politician pushing an agenda. He's not black people president. He's the president of the United States, the corporation of America. And we are so fucking blind that we don't understand what that means. It's none of them give a shit about us. They are there as a business representative for a certain group that has interest at the top of their list. And Hillary represents a group, and she's there to push certain agendas. And Ben Carson's there, and Bernie's there, and then whoever gets in there then starts pushing the agendas. And the bottom line of it all is money. Is all money. Nobody gives a fuck about the black people. They don't give a shit about the Mexicans. They don't even give a shit about the white people in the trailer parks. They don't give a shit about nobody. All that matters is the money. It's the haves and the have-nots. They keep pushing that gap together tighter, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the poorer get poorer, the richer get richer, and then we're going to be in fucking cages, killing each other, eating bullshit ass meat that's made out of cardboard, dying of cancer, and Oprah and her friends are going to be on a jet flying to Paris to eat cheese. That's what the fuck is happening in America, and nobody is. People are not informed enough to understand that that's really what goes on. White people, when it comes to racism, that's institutionalized. The white guy that works at Ross that doesn't like black people can affect your fucking life and keep you from learning how to read, going to a good school, getting good medical care. He's a bigot. Racism is so deep and into it's rooted in the institution, has nothing to do with a dumbass motherfucker who lives in a building thinks about black people. We are so caught up, we're so distracted with the wrong thing while the big shit is really happening to all of us. And the white people who are deluded into believing, you see those white people that run behind Donald Trump, those idiots, they really think that he thinks that they're one of him. He looks at them just like he looks at the Mexicans and the black people. It's a different set of morons to him. He's like, they're not like me. I belong to the elite. They'll never be like me. They're the worker bees. And it's so deep that unfortunately we are so caught up with the wrong thing. So when I tell you, we go back to topic, relationships, I have to evaluate where a person is before I attack what they're saying, because when I read certain Facebook posts, I have deleted so many people in the last couple of months on Facebook, more than I ever have, simply because I don't want that in my atmosphere. I don't want that around me. If you hate women, go ahead.
So you don't even want to see it on accident.
Right. And
No.
to piggyback on that, not even off of Facebook, I know this used to be like a hard rule for when you're dating relationships to never talk politics on a first date, right? That was like an unwritten rule that you don't do. Yael,
Shit, I do.
when do we talk about this now with somebody that you might be interested in?
But hold on, I talk about it on the first date.
Yep.
Because if I don't want to waste a second date with somebody who is going in a completely different direction than me. And if I think you think you're going to convert me to Islam, then we don't need to go. We don't need to see Creed together next week.
What about Scientology?
I'm not interested in any of it.
Oh, okay. I got an extra ticket.
Thank you.
Louis, so if you support Blue Lives Matter and the other supports Black Lives Matter, can they date and y'all do two different hashtags?
Okay, well, look, let me speak from personal experience. I'm a conspiracy nut. And I embrace it. A lot of the, views that either says I share, I've gotten into it with, with dates, they want to start talking politics. I'm start talking about, jet fuel does not melt steel, and pew, they're gone.
Right.
So, I'm on that part where, like I made a little comment earlier. It's, I believe that there is such a global elite that are trying to push for a new world order. Yes, I have that weird belief. And
we always, we jumped on you earlier in the show, but that's always that we play fight.
Yeah.
And definitely with your beliefs and just your knowledge and your intellect to it, That's why I love being a guest on your show, because we really get deep into those types of theories. But on the dating aspect, with women running from.
So when I'm like on a date and the topic goes to politics, because it is kind of a passion of mine. It's something that I like to use when I'm on stage. And if a chick that I'm with says, "I'm not interested, this is boring," or "You don't like Obama? Why don't you like Obama? He's black." That is such a turnoff to me. Like, I can't even like switch to my lizard part of the brain and just be like, boobies. No, I can't. It's just like, okay, I just want to leave, go home, and watch Loose Change about 5 times just to, just to like wash my palate from willing ignorance.
Right.
It just, it really bugs me, because I mean, I think I asked Ida on my show, when I had her on my show, if she read, Behold a Pale Horse by William Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean,
and watching everything come to,
yep.
And watching so many things come to fruition from that text is pretty scary.
It is.
Like, even just to think on a deeper level, like when they said that they were going to put chips in everybody's hands, it's a fucking cell phone. Everywhere we go, everybody's got a cell phone in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to implant it in our bodies. It didn't have to be some scientific mission. It's how many people do you know that are at unrest when we can't find their phone?
Yeah.
It's a tracking device. It's a recording device. It's a camera. And if you don't think that they're watching you, then you really don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Why you think they hate Eric Snowden or Chelsea Manning, Chelsea Manning for releasing all those documents onto WikiLeaks?
I think that when it comes to building your I believe that the universe agrees with a made-up mind. I have very, very metaphysical belief. I'm a creature of metaphysics, and I do believe you create the world that you live in. And if you want to live in fear, you'll live in fear. And if you want to live in triumph, you'll live in triumph. You just got to create it, because there are a lot of things you don't have the power to change externally, but the way you live your life and the way you see things is all within your power. And so for me, it's very big. I've had to make revolutionize, or I've had several revolutions. I love that word. That word doesn't scare me. It inspires me in my life, where I've had to get rid of people that don't belong in my life, not because I disagree with what they believe, but because what they believe is an infection that will, that is a disease that can infect my optimism and my way of looking at things and feeling empowered on what I believe in. So when you like Ben Carson or you like Donald Trump because you can identify with them, it raises a red flag to me. I don't want you to die, and I don't want you not to be on the planet, but I don't want you to be on my planet, because I am a believer, and a supporter and an endorser of all human beings. And I want, I innately want peace, but I want above peace, I want justice. And I want things to happen fairly for all people. And so I can't be around people who think it's cool to make fun of other people who have disabilities or who are coming here to fight for freedom, where your ancestors did the same thing, and now you want to turn your back. And I do believe that there should be regulations in life. I think that we don't need to open the doors to every other country's finest criminals. But when it comes to little children and people that are seeking asylum, there is something about what you think and how you feel about other human beings that I need to know about, because I need to know why you're here. Mm-hmm. So whether it's Facebook or, a relationship app, or it's, people that I tour with, I don't want to be around people who don't think for themselves. Mm-hmm. And for me, ultimately, these tragedies expose fear. And when fear is exposed, then you see the root of the real illness that lives in certain people. And if bigotry is what feeds you and who you are, that's who you are. The fear is just exposing it. It didn't create it. It just exposes it. Because I don't hate Muslims. Mm-mm. I don't hate, I don't think every Muslim is a member of ISIS. Just like I don't hate Christians. And I don't think that every member of the KKK, every Christian is a member of the KKK. And to me, the KKK and ISIS are the same thing. Mm-hmm. They are extremely.
No, they are. They have to, yeah. One is just more successful at fundraising than the other. That's really all it is, to tell you the truth.
And gets a pass.
And they have to, I say all the time that I work in development real estate. I'm to some degree an observant Jew. I do this. I set people up, and I'm a comedian, so you can only imagine. I'm not very liked in certain circles,
Right.
in certain circles of folk, and I get shit in either direction. See, you guys will notice I didn't add a lot to this conversation. I'm not an overly political person. Like, I think we have a huge problem with ISIS. ISIS is frightening, but
Yes.
there's, but they fundraise their cause really well. They fund it with the media. We give them money. And you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just better fundraisers at their cause. Yeah, they're all bad. I mean, even if you take a look at, the Hasidic Jewish neighborhoods and they extort money, it's just as bad. It's just a different kind of bad with no global agenda in the way that ISIS, you know what I'm saying? They're all, none of them are good. It's just, what are their areas of being bad? And can my bad fundraise more successfully than yours can? You know what I mean?
Right.
They're all terrible. I don't think there's any difference between KKK and ISIS.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing that the average mind doesn't have the ability to process and really assess that is all the same thing. It's radical thinking. There's leadership, and then there's someone sitting at the top laughing, cashing in, while all these people are killing themselves and dying for dumb shit that actually is not founded in anything real or true. Because out of all of the things that we have in common as human beings from person to person, our skin color is probably one of the very few things that we don't have in common. Whereas everything else, and we get so caught up in bullshit and we forget that people are people, and none of us are exempt from the issue of life. And if you don't believe that, then look how Steve Jobs was taken down by cancer and all the money in the world couldn't save him. So it's just it's just so much that we really get caught up in, and at the end of the day, on the human level, where God forbid the aliens come, then what are we gonna do? Are we really gonna still be worried about who's black, white, Mexican? If it became
someone needs to call Will Smith, that's for damn sure. He might be our only hope in how to handle that crisis.
I think I know how to handle the aliens.
No, but what I'm telling you is
it might be the only person to call.
But I'm telling you is if we get to the point where a different enemy came about, where we have to rely on one another to survive, all that shit will go out of the window. And it's just, so funny to me to think that so many people are really, really, they just believe the hype. And Public Enemy told you, don't believe the hype. So what I say is, when it comes to relationships and all of these tragedies, what I always urge is people to go out and educate themselves so that they don't walk around saying dumb shit and walk around in fear all the time. Because the reason you're afraid right now is because they want you to be afraid. Because then when they go push one of those agendas, your fear will support it. And that's what this is really about.
Right. So we are closing in on our hour and got to wrap this up. From me, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out. This was a great episode. Keenan Ivory Waynes up top, I said that you're beautiful. This Keenan said that you were intelligent, and you proved it in this episode, so thank you. Thank you for really being on. Is there anything that you have to hope?
Well, absolutely. I'll be at Mohegan Sun Casino December 7th through the 19th. And I won't be talking about my conspiracies, but so I will be there. And then and then New Year's Eve I will be at Notes and Joe's in Greensboro, North Carolina for the weekend. So if you are in any of those areas, please, get some tickets and come out and check a comedy show out.
All right, great. Yael.
Nothing really to promote other than continue to like and share and download For Love and Play. Follow me on Instagram, Yael Meisel, Facebook, Yael Meisel, WordPress For Love and Play, Urban Humor to catch the deeper side of things on our blog, #For Love and Play. Don't hesitate to email us with your questions, comments, concerns, proper budgets for holiday gifts. Let's not live like a bunch of animals. We barely know these people.
That's funny.
Louis, what you got for me, bro?
As always, you can listen to my show, the Crotch Out Radio Show, that the lovely and talented Ida Rodriguez was on. Usually, you can listen to it on iHeartradio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, podcast.com, and also iTunes. I do it live during the week. So follow me on the Twitters at LouisB1 and you'll find out. Or you could like my fan page. And you know, that's how big I think about myself. I made my own fan page, at, facebook.com/LouisBComedy. I'm going to be doing a show, Saturday, December 12th at 6 p.m. at Broadway Comedy Club, which is located at 318 West 53rd Street, New York 10019. Please, make your reservations by calling this number, 212-252-4261. Tell them that you're going to see Louis B, and you get a $5 discount off the cover charge. So yeah, and you know, I believe ISIS and the KKK are the same because they're both ran by the CIA. Take it away, Keenan.
All right, everybody knows all my information's on my website, www.keenanweaver.com. That's KENANWEAVER. This Sunday, every Sunday, 8 o'clock, Sunday Night Live at New York Comedy Club. I'm there. Next week, Saturday, December 19th, I will be hosting a Bernie Sanders benefit debate party. So that'll be cool. If that's somebody that you like and want to donate, go on the website, get that information, come out and spend money so he can campaign. And everybody else, as you know, keep loving,